He found her at the edge of his land, where the fence leaned like a tired old man and the earth bore scars of too many seasons of pain, and in that moment, while the wind dragged dust across the plains and the sun bled low into the horizon, his one unbreakable rule began to crack, even though he did not yet know it would cost him his loneliness and reward him with a life he had stopped believing was possible. If you believe that kindness can change destinies and that second chances still matter in a hard world, take a moment right now to like this video, comment your thoughts, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to the channel Wild West Tale, where stories are not just told, but felt. The rancher had built his life on silence. His land stretched wide and empty, mirroring the space he kept between himself and the rest of the world. Years ago, he had learned that loving deeply meant losing deeply, and when the land took his first wife during a cruel winter sickness, something inside him closed forever. He buried her beneath a cottonwood tree and buried himself alongside her in spirit. From that day on, he lived by one rule that guided every breath he took. No strangers stayed, no hearts got close, and no future was allowed to grow where the past had died. The land respected that rule for a long time. Seasons came and went without disturbance. The ranch demanded work, and he gave it everything he had. Sunrise found him fixing fences, sunset found him counting cattle, and nights found him alone with memories he never spoke aloud. The town miles away barely remembered his name. He preferred it that way. Loneliness was familiar, predictable, and safe. Then she arrived without asking. She was lying near the fence when he found her, her body bruised, her clothes torn by travel and hardship, her horse gone. She looked like someone the world had pushed too far and forgotten to help back up. He stood there longer than he should have, the rule pounding in his chest like a warning bell. He told himself to ride away, to let the world handle its own broken souls. But the land was quiet, watching, and he knew leaving her would mean death. The rule bent under the weight of his conscience. Bringing her into his home felt like betrayal, of the past, of the promise he made to himself, of the silence he depended on to survive. Yet he did it anyway, telling himself it was temporary, nothing more than a delay before she left his life forever. He kept his distance as she healed, speaking little, watching closely, afraid of how easily the house seemed to breathe again with another human inside it. She carried her pain quietly. Her movements were careful, as if she had learned long ago not to ask for more than she was given. She helped where she could, not to earn favor, but because she understood survival depended on usefulness. There was a gentleness to her presence that unsettled him. She did not push. She did not demand. She simply existed, and that was enough to disturb the carefully constructed walls he had lived behind for years. As days turned into weeks, the ranch began to feel different. The nights were still quiet, but no longer empty. Meals tasted warmer. The fire seemed brighter. Even the land responded, as if recognizing a shift in balance. The rancher fought against it, reminding himself of the rule, repeating it whenever he caught himself watching her too long or noticing the strength behind her tired eyes. He told himself that kindness was not love and that compassion did not mean commitment. But the past has a way of surfacing when least expected. He dreamed of his late wife, not in pain, but in memory, laughing, standing in sunlight, alive. The dreams shook him. He wondered if moving forward meant forgetting, and that fear tightened its grip around his heart. Loving again felt like betrayal, yet denying it felt like slow death. The woman's story revealed itself in fragments over time, not through words but through actions. She flinched at raised voices from passing riders. She worked until her hands bled. She slept lightly, always prepared to run. The rancher recognized the signs of someone who had learned that safety was temporary and trust dangerous. In her, he saw a reflection of his own guarded soul, shaped differently but carved by similar pain. The true test came with a storm that arrived without mercy. Wind tore across the plains, rain lashed the earth, and fences collapsed under nature's fury. Cattle scattered, and survival became a shared fight. In the chaos, the rancher realized something that terrified him more than the storm itself. He was no longer fighting for just himself or his land. He was fighting for her safety too. The rule shattered completely in that moment, not with noise but with acceptance. After the storm passed, the land lay broken but alive. Repairs took time, effort, and cooperation. Side by side, they rebuilt fences, gathered livestock, and restored order from destruction. In doing so, something else was rebuilt: trust. The rancher found himself depending on her strength, her insight, her steady presence. She was no longer a stranger passing through. She had become part of the rhythm of the ranch. The realization frightened him. Love had once taken everything from him. Opening his heart again meant risking that pain all over. Yet denying it meant condemning himself to a life half-lived. Slowly, carefully, he allowed himself to hope, not recklessly, but honestly. He understood then that his rule had never been about strength. It had been about fear. Choosing her was not dramatic. It was quiet, intentional, and deeply human. He chose her in the way he fixed the roof before winter, the way he rose before dawn to tend the land, the way he stayed when leaving would have been easier. She did not replace the past, she honored it by allowing a future to exist. Their marriage was simple, witnessed by open sky and the cottonwood tree that once symbolized loss. The rancher stood not as a man who had forgotten grief, but as one who had learned to live with it and still choose joy. The woman stood not as someone rescued, but as someone who had endured and survived and finally found a place where she was not temporary. Just before the ending of this story, I want to ask you something. Please comment below and tell us what this story made you feel, because your words keep these stories alive and help others find them. Life on the ranch changed in ways neither had expected. Laughter returned, soft at first, then stronger. The land flourished, the house filled with warmth. And the rancher learned that rules built from pain can protect us for a time, but they are not meant to define a lifetime. Breaking his one rule did not destroy him. It saved him. As this story comes to a close, if it touched your heart even a little, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, and stay connected with Wild West Tale. Your engagement helps stories like this reach hearts that are still waiting for a second chance, just like he was.